Okay, so this is Librarian Legs coming to you from the basement because it's really cold outside. It was really cold all day, and I've been writing a lot. Maybe some of you know I'm trying to get published. Maybe you don't, but I've been writing a lot. So when it's cold and I can't work outside, like actually can't work outside, it's really fun to be able to write more. So I've been getting a lot of writing done. But this will be like a 2 week update. I'm trying to get down to 1 week, but so far writing is taking my time, which is great. But 2 weeks is pretty good. So starting off with where I was 2 weeks ago, I finished up the series Jacques McEwen by Yahtzee Crunchaw, which is an absolutely brilliant space opera. It is so much fun, and it was a really satisfying ending too, and I think it's an ending. I suppose it could write more, but I didn't look at the date, so it's a place to wrap up. I wouldn't mind more because I love this character and I love this little space adventure world that he's come up with. It's very, very fun. It's like Star Wars on its ear because Jack McEwen is kind of a Han Solo character, and it's really, really fun. I highly recommend that. Then I dug into Helldivers again. I dug into the Point Five book, which I didn't know existed when I read book one. And that's amazing. Nicholas Sansbury Smith and R.C. Bray, a great combination, one of my favorites. And it's not very long. And I can't remember, it's a great animal companion, but I'm thinking I can't remember if the animal companion is in book one, so I may have to go back and revisit that. It's been a couple of years before I move on with the rest of the series, which is fine because I love them. So I may have to do that. I may have to revisit that before I push forward. And then, because I love it, Darkblade Protector, which is book one in the Darkblade series by Andy Peliquin, and read by John Lee. And if you haven't read them, or if you haven't read any Andy Peliquin, or if you especially haven't read well, no, not even especially. I love everything he's written. I've now finished Queen of Thieves. I'm halfway through Dragonblood Assassin, which is my favorite. And now 2 books into this. And I've got the third book lined up, or the second book. The first one I read was the connecting tissue between Queen of Thieves and Darkblade. And this one is just great. This is a non-stop action. How the heck does this character keep getting tangled up in these messes? How the heck does he keep getting out? It never gets old. It never gets dry. And you really do fall in love with this character more and more. Everything he gets into and out of, and his motivations. It's a really, really good addition to the series. Well, I mean, I've only read one. This is the first one now. The second one, so love it. Definitely be going on with that. Silent Sparrow, which was recommended to me by a friend. This is the Ruinous Love trilogy, the third book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. This is, in fact, a very saucy romance, a dark romance, but it's not very dark. Well, I guess it depends on how you define dark. But it's hilarious, very funny, sort of Dexter romance. It's very funny, very poignant as well. The journey that these characters go on in all three of the series are very wounded characters, and the journey of healing in through the romance and through the shit that they get into, honestly, is very funny and very poignant and makes you cry. I cried more than once, cried lots of times. It's a really good series. If you want to read something dark and romantic, I would highly recommend the Ruinous Love trilogy by Brynne Weaver, read by Samantha Brentmore and Eric Noland. Really good stuff. It's that time again. My computer lights my world. And then we have Sins and Sorrows, which is book 1.5 in Audible anyway, of The Protectors of Britannia by Mike Mullman, read by James Munier. I guess it depends on if you're French or English. He's a great narrator. He might become a new favorite. And the series, I'm in love with Becoming a Druid. I'm in love with that first book. So I read this through the first time, just listened to it through the first time, and just really enjoyed the stories. And now I'm going to go back and pick apart what I think Mike might want us to know moving into the next whole novel. So I'm going to read it again and pick some pieces out because I really want to be prepared. I feel like this is one of those 1.5s that is relevant. Like, you're going to learn stuff that you need to know. and it was really good. Again, love this narrator. Um, really, really love this series. The next one was Thank You, Bearded Book Beast. Once again, this is Repairman Jack. This is, I guess, the early years. I've read 2 of them now. I'm sure I'll read the 3rd before the end of the month. These were when he's even younger, like a teenager, which is great because it's completely contemporary. I think we're like a year apart, Repairman Jack and I. It's the Secret Histories, or the Secret History and Secret Circles, the ones I finished. The next one is Secret Vengeance, and I'll probably finish that as well. This is F. Paul Wilson, narrated by Alexander Sendies, and he doesn't do the main works, the big ones, but I love Alexander Sendies. He did a great series called The Henchman. Henchman? Nah, I'm going to read it and I'll get to it, make sure I get it right. But love that narrator, just love him. I'm really enjoying digging into a little more of his stuff in these Repairman Jack books, which good job, Bearded Book Beast, even if you did shatter both of my January and February TBLs. Still loving them. Yeah, so upcoming this month, I'm hoping to get a a listen of a book I've read of Why the Caged Bird Sings. Maya Angelou, who I read a lot of in college and I absolutely love, so I'm hoping to get that one in a reread in. I bought it, so I would love to get that, revisit that. Such a great book. Maya Angelou is just, come on, one of the best writers of the century. So then we have Outside Moon, which I fully intend to get squeaked in this month because I don't want Riven Earth to get too far away. Really like Riven Earth, and I don't want this duology to fall apart because I don't remember enough. It's a pretty complex story and a really good one too, and that's Zamir Amer, if I'm saying it right, and Adriel Brandt is a narrator, and a great narrator, great series, highly recommend. I might even buy physical copies because it was one of my 3 favorite covers last year was Riven Earth. And so even though I don't really need physical copies, I may buy that physical copy for that artwork because I absolutely love that first book. And so Sundered Moon is on the list for the rest of the month. Then if I can, I will finish Shining Smith, which is a really fun post-apocalyptic cyber story. Really strong, cool female character. Cats. Who doesn't love cats? She has some modifications, the character Shining Smith does. It's written by Faith Hunter and narrated by Christine Vam, who's one of my favorite female narrators. And I love that series. I have 2 books left in that series before I'm either caught up or done. I won't know until I get to the end of the 4th book. I try not to look too far ahead unless I already know. I want to be surprised. If it's not done, it's not done. But I've read the first 2 books and I just love that series. So then we have what I might get to, Dragon Slayer by Craig Allenson, which is the 2nd book in the Convergence series. Also narrated by R.C. Bray. I love him. So I may get to that one. I also have Fate Lashed by Josh Erickson, which is a really fun modern urban fantasy. And he reads that himself and does a really great job. So another author narrator that's super fun. That's book 2. And I want to finish that series this year. I just let it slip. I haven't looked at it in a long time. Same with Dragon Slayer. The first book was great and it just kind of got away from me. So I want to finish both of those series this year. And then if I squeak it or I swap it, Drowned Kingdom by P.L. Stewart. I kind of bumped it to the end of the month since I'm trying to finish series and not start too many new series just to get tangled up in the same rut I was in last year. I had all these new series, like first books, and it was frustrating. So I don't know who Adam Curtin are. I don't know who Sean Polite, just spelled polite, but whatever. Who those narrators are new to me, so that'll be fun. And if I don't get to it now, I'll definitely get to it by June. I might even just scoop it in the next month. I really want to read it. I just want to be careful getting, again, back into that route where I've started the first book of 50 series and not finished them. I don't want to go there again. I did really good last year. So then, yeah, the physical book, I may or may not be able to finish this month, is this pretty book, if you can see it. Ooh, pretty. Makeshift. The Complete Makeshift by C.M. Selbreed. Bought that from an independent seller now that I'm on TikTok and having fun with that. And it's just a really pretty book and I really like the premise. And it's really, really short, so I'm going to put on my patch and drag out my magnifying LED light and I don't know, see if I can read a physical book. Just wanted to support an indie author that doesn't have audio, much as I can. I can't read thick books, but if I can read little ones, I'm going to try. And then the ebook I picked this month, since I'm trying to do an ebook a month too, I started, haven't gotten very far, but hopefully I'll have some time, is Bob the Wizard. So I'm coming down to the wire to get those done, but we'll see if I do. So that's it for the rest of February, and I'll have a March update, or like in this week. Maybe I'll combine what I got finished of that list and what's moving into March and what I'm planning in March, which is pretty big. The big highlight in March, you must all know, you have 15 days now, well 14 probably, to get caught up on Joe Ledger if you're not already. That's, yeah. It's 14 books, so you better get on it. Well, 13 books and then a bunch of short stories. So you don't have much time left, so you might want to get on that. Because Burn to Shine, I think it's the third or fourth book in Rogue Team International, which is the Bump series from Joe Ledger. And it's so good. So if you haven't started, you do have time to get caught up. You may have to take some time off from work, if you have some PTL, or you get shut in a blizzard, whatever. You have time to get caught up. So yeah, that's the rest of February. So thanks for listening if you stayed this long. And again, I want to chat with you guys. So if anything you don't know or you want to know more about or you're not sure about, I'm happy to play and chat in the DMs. So yeah, come and talk. Cinepom is my other place. Find me on TikTok at Cinepom and find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Cinepom. So, yay, have a good night. I'll talk to you later.